let's move on to out number 3. Speaking of teams where it seems like everything is clicking, right? The Milwaukee Brewers at the moment sit at 38-27. They are 6.5 games into first place. The Reds and Cubs right now are tied for second in the NL Central. They have quietly been one of the better teams in the National League, and I don't think anybody really kind of expected to see that. So, Dalton, are you buying it, or are they the Guardians?
Somewhere in between. Somewhere in between. They're not the Guardians. I think the Brewers clearly they've clearly done a good job of developing players to fit a certain culture, right?
Yeah.
I think the same can be said of the Guardians to some degree, but I think the Brewers are more talented than they are. That being said, the cast of guys that are actually making an impact for Milwaukee is fascinating. So I want to start by giving you my high-level takeaway, which is I still think Chicago is very live to win this division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't so strongly believe in the Reds, but it wouldn't shock me if they made a run. I think this division is very much up for grabs. But it's interesting because I think, if somebody's not looking at the standings right now and you ask them, hey, who's ahead in the Central and by how much? They would guess, well, Milwaukee's been playing well. Maybe Milwaukee by a game or two over the Cubs. That's it's 6.5 games right now. They've created some separation over that division in a way that I didn't see coming. So the game I want to play with you, Mike, and I messaged you about this as we started the show. I hope you're not looking at the Brewers baseball reference page right now. If you are, close it out.
No.
Because I want to see how many of the top 12 players in WAR on the Brewers this year you can get right.
Okay.
All right, so I'll give you 12. I'm gonna have you give me 12 names, and I'm gonna give you yes or no on each one, and then I'll tell you what they are at the end.
So 12 Brewers players.
Can you get me to 12? I think you can.
I don't know that I can name 12 Brewers, but that's kind of the state of the. But okay, here we go. All right,
that's something about the Brewers, doesn't it?
Okay, so here we go. I'll obviously say William Contreras.
Yep, right? He's number 2.
Okay, I'll say William Contreras. Yelich.
He's number 6 on the Brewers in WAR.
Okay. I can't imagine Jackson Churrio's on that list.
He's not.
Okay. All right. So that's interesting. That makes things a little bit more interesting now. Willie Adames.
Number 7.
Okay. Rhys Hoskins.
Not on there.
Wow.
Missed a lot of time with injuries, so he hasn't had a ton of time to amass WAR.
Okay.
But the point you're making is what I'm getting at, which is wait till you hear this cast of characters, but keep going.
Okay. Sal Frelick.
Nope.
What? Really? Jeez. Okay. All right. Now I'm going to get really deep. All right. Here we go. Blake Perkins.
Blake Perkins is number 5.
Okay.
1.5 WAR this year for Blake Perkins.
I always looked at this guy as if he was kind of mid, but I'll go with Bryce Terang.
Number 1.
Bryce Terang is number
Bryce Terang
in WAR.
In WAR.
That's hysterical. That's
Bryce
hysterical.
Terang.
Okay. I would assume you're including pitchers in this as well, right? I'm assuming that is also.
All right. You have 4 more guesses. You've gotten 5 right so far.
All right. Freddie Peralta.
Number 10 out of 12.
Okay. Colin Ray.
Number 8 out of 12. You got 2
more. Okay. I can't imagine that like Joey Ortiz is on that list, right?
Joey Ortiz is number 4.
That's remarkable. Okay. All right. So I get the point here, right?
Let me go through them for you because it's hilarious, right? This team is leading a division in baseball by 6.5 games, and this is their top 12 in WAR. Bryce Terang at number 1. William Contreras. Relief pitcher Brian Hudson is number 3.
That I wouldn't have gotten in a million years.
He was on the Dodgers last year.
Mm-hmm.
Joey Ortiz is number 4. Blake Perkins number 5. Christian Yelich number 6. Willie Adames number 7. Colin Ray number 8. Relief pitcher Jared Koenig is number 9. Reliever Trevor McGill is number 11.
Oh, he
And
throws
rookie starting pitcher Robert Gasser is number 12.
That's remarkable.
Like, you want to talk about like developing guys that are apparently really ready to compete at this level. And what's amazing about the Brewers is this is not like there's not a ton of power hitters on this list. I mean, William Contreras has been one of the best players in baseball and like needs to be celebrated more. But outside of him, like how many guys outside of him on this list, like you'd be excited to see them get acquired by the Yankees?
No, almost none. Like
Right?
I don't know that I would. Like Freddie Peralta might be like the cool one, but outside of that, no.
So that's what I'm getting at is it's like and it's look I'm not it's part of why I don't see them creating separation as the season goes along because like the
Yeah.
guys that are leading them there are guys that feel like there's probably some flashes in the pan going on there.
Yeah.
But you got to respect the hell out of that team's like culture and development that they're 38-27 and leading a division when Brian Hudson and Bryce Turang and Joey Ortiz are 3 of their top 4 in WAR.
Yeah. Yeah. By the way, Joey Ortiz being one of the pieces that they got back from Corbin Burns. Like that's like they're making the most out of and like I think it's really interesting that you bring that up because I think it kind of like this almost like proves a point that like when we talk about teams that develop young talent, right? And they make like they almost turn nobodies into somebodies.
Yep.
Like the Brewers kind of have to be included in that conversation with teams like the Rays and Baltimore and Atlanta and like those teams that actually like make real like they actually know how to develop and build teams out of guys that they internally have. The Brewers kind of need to be in that conversation. Like we didn't like what did we expect? Right? What Pacoda projected them at 79 and 83 to start the season after they went 92 and 70 last year. Like,
Yep.
and I think you and I kind of expected, yeah, the Brewers are probably a 3rd or 4th place team in this division. They're not. They're very clearly in first here and heavily. Now, you bring up a good point before too. I don't know that you should give up on the Cubs and like the Reds could absolutely make a run. I mean, they like the Reds are kind of built like a young team that could all get hot for 1 month and just explode. But the Brewers are definitely around, and they look like they might be around for a while.
Let me also I want to talk speaking of Brewers roster construction, right? Because you took the words out of my mouth with comparing them to the Rays and Dodgers. I don't think they're a team that gets that credit the way they should. So 100% agree with you there. I want to touch on 2 of their trades and part of why it's just an underrated front office in general.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Josh Hader trade with San Diego?
I mean, I would have a year ago, but now I don't.
So they got Robert Gasser, who's been lights out as a starter for them as a rookie this year. Esteury Ruiz, who's now with Oakland. But guess who they traded Esteury Ruiz for?
Who?
William Contreras. So, like, they turned Josh Hader into Robert Gasser, William Contreras. The other 2 players, Lamet and Rogers, are no longer with the team. But, like, dude.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And you talked about the trade that brought them Joey Ortiz. I think they also got DL Hall in that deal. A really highly touted lefty. But, like, this is just a team that, like, they make moves that at the time people are like, oh, the Brewers being sellers, Brewers being cheap. I mean, I thought that, right?
Yeah, right.
But man, like it's hard to argue that front office is not one of baseball's best. Like to continue to contend while shedding the players that they've shed over the years.
Yeah.
You got to hand it to them.
Yeah, no, you absolutely do. It kind of reminds me of when you bring up that story about the Josh Hader trade, where it's like these hidden things that you kind of don't realize what make your front office really good. Like everybody's been giving Brian Cashman crap recently because of all the bad trades he made, like the Frankie Montas stuff and whatever else. But people are like, dude, this guy like claimed Jake Cave off of waivers and turned it into Luis Heel. like that's like a real thing, dude. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny because that reminded me of that. But yeah, great stuff.